Notice that Lydia was baptized once her heart was open. Acts 16 and 15 says, when she and her household were baptized, she begged us, saying, if you've judged me to be faithful to the Lord, come to my house and stay. So she persuaded us. She and her household were baptized. She wasn't the only one. She apparently had influence over others in her family or in her household. Perhaps being a seller of purple, she prospered greatly. That was a lucrative field in the first century. So it appears that Lydia was a successful woman of business. She appeared to have means, so that it's reasonable she would have a household that would include different people working under her charge. And look at the impact that she had on them. Where her heart was open, they were a part of that. And they came to the Lord too, and they were obedient. That shows us that when we preach Christ, baptism is what naturally follows. In Acts 8, verse 35 and 36, Philip opened his mouth, began the same scripture, and preached unto him Jesus. And as they went on their way, they came to a certain water, and the eunuch said, see, here is water. What doth hinder me to be baptized? Well, look at there. Lydia's heart was opened by the preaching of the word, and so she was baptized. And here we find Philip preaching to the eunuch, and he preached Jesus, and the eunuch wanted to be baptized. Same thing that happened with Lydia. In Galatians 3 and 27, he said, as many of you as have been baptized into Christ have put on Christ. Of course, preaching Christ would lead one to want to be baptized, because that's how you put him on. If somebody hears the call of the love of Christ, if someone hears about the bitter and awful sacrifice he endured to save us from sin and death, if someone hears about that and they feel compelled to answer that call and return his love, of course they want to be clothed in him. Of course they want to put him on. Of course they want to be a part of him. And baptism is the point at which you do that. And that's exactly what the open-hearted will do. God opened Lydia's heart and she was baptized. Look at what happened in Acts 2 and 41. It was the same thing. It says, they that gladly received his word were baptized, and the same day there were added to them about 3,000 souls. Now we talked about that opening of the heart, including that individual's choice to believe, and look at it right there in Acts 2. There it is. They gladly received the word. That word was mixed with faith, wasn't it? And it profited them. It brought them to a point where they said, you know what? We're going to obey what the word says. And that's what an open-hearted person will always do. If you're not a Christian tonight and your heart is open to the Lord, you'll obey him. If you're not a Christian tonight and you gladly receive his word, you'll be baptized into Christ. It's that simple.